Hello students, welcome back to Painting 1 demonstration. This is the Warm Cool project, part 1. So we're going to go through and do this painting right here using just 2 colors and white. Oh, so I've got the still life picture right here. So you can take a look at that, and first I'm going to draw it out. So we're using colored pencil so that it won't smear as we go through and paint. I did just a quick time lapse for this one, and just trying to go through how big are things, where do they go, how far am I cropping in. And I think for this project, because we're splitting the canvas into 2 pieces, you want to probably zoom in quite a bit. So you can see I've cropped things off quite a bit on the left and the right, but still have the bottom to make it fit. So here we go. We're going to put the paints out. So I've got 2 different paints. This is my alizarin crimson, so dark cool red. Then I have transparent blue oxide, which is not too easy to find. Tight lid there, and so we'll go through, put some of that down. And what I probably recommend is going through and putting 3 different dabs of paint here, so that you have one in the middle where you're mixing the 2 colors together. Then I also have a titanium white. So I put those out, and we'll move to the next part where I'm going to go through and mix these colors to get them ready. So here we go. We're going to add a little white to the alizarin. This way you can kind of see what the color looks like. You understand what it looks like when you tint it with white. And you can kind of get a sense of what color you're working with. I'm going to do the same thing with the transparent blue. What does this look like? And what I want you to set up is, I want you, if you're going to use this method, pick a warm color, pick a cool color, and then the middle is going to be a mixture between the 2. And at any point, what I can do is mix a little extra blue or mix a little extra red into something to give myself a different value of that color. So I'm trying to scrape this together, mix it really good. And now I'm going to add some white to this so I can see what this color looks like. And obviously it should be some kind of a purple, but how purple is it? Did I get too close to the blue? Did I get too close to the red? This is pretty balanced, pretty close to the middle. So I've got all those together, and I'm ready to start painting. So here we go. We're going to start mixing up some colors. I am going to draw this with my alizarin, setting that up, drawing this out. So I'm mostly starting off by going over and redrawing with the brush over my pencil lines. I think that that's usually the easiest. You could go in and just start filling in the different values, but I often like to do this first because it starts to put paint down onto the canvas. As long as I feel pretty good about where the lines have been drawn, then I can just use the ones that I see and start to paint those in. So we're going to go through this. It takes a minute here, kind of outlining things. If there's a place where I don't need to put extra lines, I will probably avoid that. I'm just drawing the things that I think I really need to see. And what I'll do next is start to build up paint all the way across the picture, so that the idea, just like normal, is we're starting to block in and consider everything after we finish our drawing. So drawing first, and then blocking in the colors and the values. I'm thinking about, these are lines here. I'm trying to draw where is the light and shadow showing up. So that's like the shadow and light division line there. The one thing that you will see is as I go through and make this, I decided to pretend like the vase with the little flower in it there in the back was actually, the flowers were inside of the Sally mug. So I'm going to leave her where she is, but bring the flowers down as if they were sitting inside that opening. So when I get to that part, we'll talk about that a little more. So there's a little kind of king logo on top of this bottle here. I'm not going to get too descriptive early on. I'm just kind of trying to get a general sense of what that shape is, where some of the dark shapes are and where some of the light shapes are on the bottle. Here's the highlight to define it. So here I'm going to start to kind of draw out the shapes. I did very kind of straight lines and loose shapes for the petals of the flower when I was drawing it with the pencil. But now that I'm starting to paint, I'm going to try to be just a little bit more descriptive and get just a little bit more together. Put some eyelashes, start to get the petal down underneath here. There's even a lower petal below that, would be sitting kind of inside that cup. Starting to, find the upper edge, the darker shadows in the middle of the flower, moving around to the outer edge. And so what I'm doing is, for this point, I'm still trying to mostly just use the alizarin to draw all this out. And now I have it pretty blocked in. I'm probably going to start going through mixing. Now I've got some blues and some purples to kind of get some shadows blocked in. I'm going to block in the shadow underneath the cup over to the side. Then I'm going to use a lot of medium and just start with a very thin version of this color to start putting in the value in the background. I want just my objects to stand out pretty good here at the beginning. So I'm going to go through and do that. So just blocking this in as quick as we can, getting all of that together. You'll notice it's very, very thin. It's mostly medium, a little bit of paint. Might get a little bit thicker there, and then I'll grab a little extra medium and kind of blend that in. Just trying to keep it, I want to get a value down. A lot of this is about kind of blocking in a shadow. Maybe clean off my brush, and then start to go for some of these brighter reds on her hair on the top of that cup. And at first I'm just kind of blocking in that bright red color. The brighter part of it is up on top. We got a little bit of a highlight over there. And then I'll maybe move over to the side, maybe add a little touch of the purple in the middle to make that side cooler and darker on that edge. So I'm going to blend that right on the curve there. And then I think I'm starting to get the lips real quick. Let's see where we go next. I think we'll start switching over to some highlights, some different areas in the flower. Right now I'm kind of maybe finding some middle values and blocking those in. And just getting a little bit here and there for those. I'm not going to paint the whole thing just now, but I'm looking at where is it lighter and where is it kind of medium value, starting to define those shapes as well. Locking those in. There's going to be some darker darks on the inside of the flower. There's like a second kind of bud of a flower up at the very top right corner. Mix up a little bit of a darker color, I believe. Oh, going over, I'm going to do the bright red for the label on the wine bottle. So again, I'm looking at a lot of these different parts to this letter. It says the word king, but I'm trying to copy the shapes. I'm not trying to write the word. I'm not writing in my own handwriting. This is different than what I would know, how I would write it. So I'm trying to copy the long tall thickness of those. So it's time for some blue. I'm starting with some highlights on Sally's face, getting those lighter values, the planes that are facing up towards the light. And then after that, I'm going to go through and start blocking in the ground plane. I think in my head, this is my cool painting, so that I might make the next one a little bit warmer and have more alizarin mixed into stuff. So if this is my cool painting, I'm going to paint something white with a more of a tint of a blue rather than a tint of a red. So I'm kind of trying to tone that in, keep it nice and light, and kind of just cover that whole area with paint. Block that in, maybe be a little bit, smudgy on those edges against the shadows. Lots of shadows, they look better when they're a little bit soft. There's a little bit darker blue on the edge of that to show the transition. And now I'm going to block in the majority of her face, starting with that darker blue, middle to light blue. And then as I get across to the left and the bottom, it's going to get darker. Thinking about where the light is. The light is up and above and to the right. So we want to kind of work our way down to the bottom to get darker. Block a little bit of that in. And this is going to take some finessing. I keep kind of messing with this all the way till we get pretty close to the end. You can go back to any one of these and do multiple passes. It's fine if you want to paint half of it and come back another day and paint the other half of it. And this is of either side. So this can take maybe 3 to 4, 5 sessions. It's kind of up to you. This is a green leaf. So I don't have green, so I'm going to mix it somewhere in between. It's not warm, it's not cool. So I'm kind of going with mixing that together with some purple. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottle. I think the bottle is not 100% purple, or it's more of a reddish brownish, but I want to make it distinct from Sally. I want Sally to feel like the brightest, kind of reddest, warmest thing. So as I block this in, I'm going to block it in on the neutral side, somewhere in between the warm red and the cool blue. All right, I think this is about it for this first part, and we'll see you in the next part when we start to kind of finish up some of these details and finish blocking in the rest of the painting.